looks fantastic.
You guys, I'm so excited about today's guest. We have the amazing Jenny Zagrino. You have seen her in movies like Bad Santa 2, 50 Shades Blacker. She has a Comedy
50
Central.
Shades of Black.
Is that what? Damn it. I thought that's what it was. I looked it up on IMDb today.
we should keep that
What's
part.
50 Shades Blacker?
That's not a thing.
That's a porno, probably.
That's 50 Shades Darker.
Exactly.
Darker? I thought. Oh, that is one of them.
Yeah.
That's the third movie.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Glad
50
for once
Shades of Black.
I'm not the one
Okay.
fucking up the intro.
Oh,
This
fucked
makes
up
me
so
feel a lot
bad.
better.
Okay, we're gonna start over. We're gonna start
No,
over.
keep
guys.
it. It needs
Nope.
to be kept.
We're not
All of it
doing
needs
that.
to be kept.
We're starting over. All right, Aaron, ready? Sorry, and we're recording.
Keep it for the YouTube portion.
We'll put that on whatever.
YouTube.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's good.
Little bloops.
I'm already messing up. All right. You guys, I'm so excited about today's guest. You've seen her in movies like Bad Santa 2, 50 Shades of Black. She has a Comedy Central half hour. She's been on Conan. She got a show on ComedyCentral.com called Badass Bitches of History and a comedy album called Jay-Z's new album, as well as an awesome new podcast called GOTE Positive. Please welcome stand-up comedian Jenny Zagrino.
Hello, ladies.
So many credits.
So many.
That
Oh
is
my
a fat
God.
list of credits.
Yeah, they all stopped at 2017. when they all stopped.
Santa?
You just did Conan.
the second one.
Oh my god. Oh, I gotta watch the second one.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was a second one. I'm
course
very
there
bad with
Delaney
pop
did-
culture
It's
stuff.
okay.
I'm so
No, it's
sorry. But I will watch it now.
Yeah,
Because
I
you're
think it's
in it.
on Netflix.
Oh, I will
possibly.
definitely
I don't
watch
know.
it.
I think it is.
I haven't watched it. I don't think I make residual off Netflix, so
Oh.
They're so hush.
I only watch it. I make residuals off of the TV when it's on TV. So
Right. You get like 10 cents every 2
Yeah.
months.
Yeah,
I
so
got a Tonight
tune
Show
in.
residuals check for literally like 88 cents.
Yep.
Not that long ago, I was like,
Keep it.
ballin'. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have so many questions for you, but we were asking if you had a favorite quote, and you said that you write the same 3 things in your journal every day.
do.
Okay, so
Hear it.
So I write number 1, I'm unstoppable.
Yeah, bitch.
fucking love it.
Ooh.
Sorry, I got real fired up. Sorry, I came in hot.
Number two is I am enough as I am now.
Oh,
Right?
so good.
And then number 3, I totally forgot. I have to say all 3 of these. Okay, number 3 is I say I am the best comedian.
Yes.
Number
yeah.
3, all the
That's
time.
fantastic.
So I write those 3 things at the end of my journal. Oh, I also do 10. I have a gratitude journal. 10 things I'm grateful for every day. So I have a goal board of like things I have to do every day. I have to write my journal. I have to write my gratitude. Have to meditate. Have to go for a walk. Like little things like that.
That's awesome.
Oh my
To
God.
like
Yes.
to streamline the best life possible.
Yes.
Yeah, you seem very focused.
Yeah.
Like-
Well, if anyone fucks it up, I'm like, well, I can't be friends with you. Like I was dating and I was like, man, if one of these guys gets in the way of my journaling, like, fuck off.
Sacred time.
Yeah.
Well, and something else we do on this show is we usually have like a treat yourself segment where we talk about ways we treated ourselves or tried to take care of ourselves. And you just did something so cool that I watched on Instagram, which was you went to Puerto Rico to see Hamilton by yourself,
Yeah.
which is so badass and cool.
Yeah,
like,
well,
so what happened with that?
Okay, so it was my birthday, and I knew that Lin-Manuel Miranda, who I love so much,
Rightfully so.
like it's embarrassing, and I feel like if I ever get to work with him, he'll be like, "I know that you," and I'll be like, "I'm so sorry."
We have you on a list.
Right.
Yeah.
Like every podcast you've been on that you said you love me, I've heard them all. It's gross. But anyways, I love him. So I was like, my birthday treat to myself was I was going to go see it in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And he reprised his role as Hamilton, which so I was like, oh my
that's
God.
so cool.
And
Just for one performance?
for like a month.
Oh,
so
okay,
they're
okay.
still they're done, but they were doing it till like the 27th or something. So here's like a fun story of having faith in life. I don't want to say the universe anymore. Whatever, having faith and that all things will be taken care of. So the opening day, I want this closer. So the opening day was January 8th, which is my birthday. right? And I got tickets. Like, I set an alarm on my phone in November. I was driving at 4 a.m. in San Francisco to get to my flight. I pulled over to like buy these tickets.
Oh my God.
Single ticket for myself.
Dedicated. I love it.
I was like,
that's awesome.
I was like, this is happening. Got it. A week before my trip, I had everything booked. I get an email that he moved his dates.
Oh no.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that the dates are going to be moved. So I had my moment of like panic, and then I was like, everything is going to be fine. It's going to be okay. Did all the stuff, canceled my flights. I only lost like $75 on the flights. So I was
great.
like, okay, fine. Got the money back on Airbnb. Everything's cool. Then I get my ticket. It's going to be on the 20th on a Sunday. And the way it lined up is that my tickets were going to be cheaper because it was already in Florida. So the tickets were cheaper to go from Florida to Puerto Rico. Then when I flew there, because my flight was delayed, I got $75 back.
how
So I made the money back.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And then that specific weekend was this crazy festival in Puerto Rico called the Festival of Saint Sebastian, which is like this amazing street festival. It's music. There's music everywhere in Old San Juan. There's food. There's vendors. There's just like, it's like Puerto Rico's, what's the thing that
Mardi
happens?
Gras?
Mardi Gras, basically.
Okay.
Like, it's just crazy, people drinking, people having
Wow.
fun. It was the most amazing experience to like just be in Puerto Rico during the biggest festival. And then the ticket that I got reissued was a better ticket than the ticket I had before. And it was just like everything lined up so perfectly where like I could have been sad about it being moved.
Yeah.
And it was just the most joyous, beautiful occasion that could have happened. And none of it would have happened if like the date hadn't moved.
That is
Yeah.
so
You know what I mean?
awesome.
That's awesome.
It was so
do you
good.
do a lot of solo traveling?
I do. I travel a
Besides
lot.
your, obviously you're a touring comedian.
Yeah.
But, besides, I don't mean like going to perform
fun.
at an improv in a mall for a week.
Yeah.
I mean, like you seem like you go cool places by yourself fairly often.
So I feel like if I'm in an area that has something in it, I want to go see it because I'm not going to wait. I don't know. It's just like people are like, well, don't you want to travel with people? I'm like, not everyone has the opportunity that I have.
Yeah.
I can't wait for them. So, like I was doing some shows in Europe and then I was like, well, fuck it. I'm going to go do a trip alone to Iceland on my way back, or I'm going to do like a trip here. I'm going to do that and I'm going to explore and be alone. There are moments when I'm like, oh, I'm kind of lonely, but also it's like, fuck it. Like,
But you can do whatever you want.
do whatever I want. Like I'm building my own kind of ability to like be alone with myself, which is a hard skill to have.
Yeah.
So we have such a great opportunity to like travel as comics. So why not
Yeah.
just do it? Because we're not going to be here for that long.
Yeah. Do you get scared of here being show business, not like
Yeah.
life? Like we're gonna live forever. But do you get scared about traveling by yourself at all? Like safety wise?
No,
I was just
I'm
about to
pretty
ask that.
smart about it. I'm pretty smart about it. Like, I research the area I'm going to. If I have friends who've been there, I'm like, what's good to do? Like, I do walk alone at night a lot because I enjoy it. Like, I like the romance of it.
Oh my God. You are crazy. It's so romantic. Stab.
Oh no, I love it. I love like getting lost in a city at night. Like,
A city I don't know where the emergency people are. and,
see, you guys are living in your tiny little bubble.
Yep.
You ain't experiencing shit.
I am.
I love it.
AF.
I'm out here. Okay.
Yeah, you look at the streets of Iceland at night. God, even
No one does anything in Iceland. They're cold. No one dies in Iceland. Come on.
Too cold?
Are there any? Have you heard of any serial killers from Iceland?
no.
I mean, there aren't that many serial killers anymore, I feel like. I mean, what was the last serial killer you heard about?
Well, I'm watching the assassination of Gianni Versace right now on
is that
Netflix.
good?
Oh, I remember that
Oh my
one.
God, it's so fucking good.
He was from
But, like,
Minnesota.
wow.
I
Yeah.
remember that.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
but boy, it does make you just like not want to speak to anybody ever again or ever leave your
Why?
house because you don't trust anybody. Because people are fucking sociopaths and they seem charming and nice. And the Ted Bundy documentary is out.
It's
and,
great.
Yeah.
Have you watched it?
No, I can't.
It's so good.
I can't.
Oh my god, you gotta he was fucked up, but you leave going like, I appreciate you as an artist, because like he like escaped from prison twice.
What?
Yeah, I didn't know. You're just like,
appreciate him as an artist?
yeah, I mean, he could never get away with it now, but like, yeah, just hearing him talk, you're like, oh, you're like a smart guy. You're just insane. Like, they tried to get him declared like incompetent, and they were just like, no, this guy knows what he's doing. He's just a psychopath.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, it's so crazy.
Oh my God.
When I say appreciate as an artist, that was a joke. Nobody laughed, but it was a joke, and I have to make that clear so nobody's like triggered. Where I'm just like, oh, but murder, it's such an art form. He was crazy, but yeah, just the preparation he took, like getting ready to escape from prison.
Oh my
Did they explain like their childhood, like what may have triggered this? I just think people, okay, like the Holmes guy, from in Chicago, the White City, the Devil in the White City.
Yeah.
What is it? H.H. Holmes.
Yeah,
something like that. With like the murder castle or whatever.
Something.
There's like reports from his childhood of like him, playing in a barn with his cousin, and suddenly his cousin dies and falls out a window, and he's like 4, and like all these crazy things of like he just happened to be around death, where it's like, oh no, he was just probably like a psycho at 4 and was like, I'm gonna kill someone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just a murder prodigy.
Wow.
That's
God.
horrifying.
No, Ted Bundy didn't have any of that, but that's like, he was so delusional. Like in all these like interviews that they are playing of him, he's talking about how he's like, I had a great childhood. There was nothing weird about it. And then they're like, we found out he was illegitimate, and he found that out, and we don't know how that affected him. And every time they talked to him about it, he was just like, no, I had a great childhood. I was super happy. It was probably just all the porn I watched. Like, he's just super. Yeah, he's just very like, I had a great childhood. We played outside. Like, just nothing. And then they'd go deeper and they'd go, maybe his grandfather abused him. Like, we're not sure. But he was very insistent that, like,
everything was cool.
yeah, everything was cool.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, and his
Cool,
mom is
bro.
still,
Cool,
yeah.
bro.
And his mom, like, right up to hearing him confess, was like, he's innocent. And, even when he got the death penalty, was just like, as a Christian, this isn't okay, and you shouldn't be doing this, and he can add to the world. And it's just insane.
He can add to the world.
Yeah.
Oh, he was taken
he's
out
done enough
alive.
now.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was taken out. He's scooping a lot from that bucket, Mom.
Jeez, Lord.
But,
yeah,
yeah.
I can't do it. I don't know.
can't. It's too scary. But yeah, the solo travel is so impressive to me because, like, yeah, as like a young woman, you're just always told like you're gonna get murdered if you go anywhere by yourself, particularly if it's somewhere
Murdered,
in a
raped,
foreign country.
kidnapped, all the things.
Murdered, raped, kidnapped.
Yeah.
There's a whole
Hot
plethora
combo.
of things that can happen to you. And so the fact that you just are like, fuck it, no, I'm gonna do my research. I'm gonna be smart about it, and I'm gonna go have some experiences. I think is so cool and admirable.
I feel like we are told those things, and then you get to the city, and you're like, oh, there's really, like, these are just, like, this city is just people trying to exist and live, and, like, there are always bad parts to areas. Like, my friend told me to stay at this one part of San Juan, and San Juan's really interesting. It's this old city. It's from, like, the 1500s when the Spanish got there. They built these cool forts. Like, I love that shit. History gives me such a boner. And then, like, outside of the walls, they have, like, this little area. I forget what it was called, but he was like, stay out of there. Like, don't go to that area. It's a lot of drugs and stuff. But during the festival, because you can peer over the wall into that part of the city, there was such great, like, music coming out of that area and people dancing, and you could hear, like, the life coming from that area. And I was just like, man, that looks like a fun place to be. I don't want to go there. But I was like, okay, I'm going to listen to my friend. But in most places like that, like, if you're going to where there's going to be a festival, it's just like, zip up your purse and whatever. Put your purse across your shoulder and go out.
Yeah.
Wear some comfortable shoes in case you got to run.
Oh my God.
You
You are fearless, man.
Oh my God, I love it. So I want to talk to you about GOTE Positive, your podcast, because I think it's so cool. Maybe you can explain to Delaney and Kelsey a little bit more about it, since I think I'm the only one who's listened to it so far. But you do it with your friend, who's also your stylist.
Yes. So her name's Kat Eves. Her Instagram is Style Ethic. So she's an ethical stylist. So
What does that mean?
So ethical fashion encompasses, does the brand have good labor laws? Are they paying a livable wage? Do they have safe environments? Or is their product green or whatever? There's different things you can decide if something is ethical or not.
That's great.
And so she makes a lot of effort that when she styles her clients that she's using ethical fashion, or like a lot of small designers too. So,
Nice.
a few of the products that I've worn for things have been like from more ethical, small business minded people, but also, so I'm plus size and it's very difficult to find a lot of like ethical fashion that's not like ModCloth, Lane Bryant, Torrid. It's like, as a plus size girl, you have such a smaller world to kind of live in as far as fashion goes, because it's expensive to make more plus size clothing too. So a lot of these smaller companies that might be ethical don't have the money to make a size 20
Got it.
in clothing. So we kind of took both of our love of fashion and our love of body activism and just kind of general feeling good vibes, loving yourself, loving your body, which is literally the biggest form of radical political thing you can do now, is just to be like, no, I like myself fine, so I'm not going to buy that, and that. And so we just talk about issues like that. We talk about weird stuff that we like. We talk about, kind of hot button topics. We did a great podcast with Danielle Perez and talked about like disabilities and kind of how that fits into like the gaudy positive world and comedy, and then also show business. So we cover a lot.
You're saying gaudy.
Gaudy.
Like,
So, like,
as if like
you're a goddess?
appeal.
No, like it's a gaudy bracelet.
Right, got it. Okay.
Like a show where
Yeah.
you're like, woo, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
you.
So
Nice.
like,
Cute.
like we both really love like, like something like the Madonna Inn. Do you guys know about that?
Oh,
place?
yeah.
Oh, I've
Yeah,
been
so
there.
that would be like a gaudy positive
Yeah.
destination.
I don't know about the Madonna Inn. What is this?
So it's like this great themed hotel.
Okay.
Like Palm Springs is a gaudy positive destination. Dolly World is a gaudy positive place to be. Or like, you know what? Maybe you just want to wear a sequin jumpsuit every day for the rest of your life. That's a gaudy positive thing for you to do. We support it. So it's just like living your kind of weird life that you want to live.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I like
Cool.
that.
And
Yeah,
then
the Madonna
also-
Inn is such a great
my
example
God,
of
so
that. I'm like,
crazy.
can I pull up an image just so Kelsey can get an
Yeah,
idea?
it's just decked out. It's like
so
pink
over
and
the top.
sparkly and
Yeah.
just all kinds. Every room, I think, is a different theme there
Yeah,
if you stay there.
I love themed hotels. Oh my god,
Yeah.
I almost stayed in a honeymoon hotel again by myself.
yourself?
And I was like, whatever. It
fucking
was like the jungle room or something.
Oh wow, I'm looking
That's
at a
like a
picture of the
dining
Madonna Inn.
room,
Wow, that's wild.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
It's fun though.
Oh, I love that shit.
Yeah.
Any kind of weird hotels, I'm like, yeah.
Where was the honeymoon one you almost stayed in?
They're in like Portland and Seattle, and they're like the Egyptian room, the jungle room, the Pirates Cove.
I've seen that. There was one I think in is it in Santa Maria or something? If there's somewhere in California, that's one of those too.
I love that shit. There's one too that's like in the Poconos. That's like where you can have a bath in a giant martini glass.
What? I mean,
Yeah,
that sounds dumb.
like all that 1950s weird kitschy shit.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I want my bed to vibrate. I want it to spin. And I
Some
just
Austin Powers shit. Yeah.
Yes.
That's always been my dream.
Yeah.
I feel like for a while, the 90s really came back with that stuff where I had inflatable furniture. Did you guys have the
Yeah.
plastic
Oh, hell
from
yeah.
icing and the icing and Claire's, and just I loved all that. Everything that had fur on it.
Yes.
Like that faux fur with shitty little glitter in it. Oh my god. I
The
love
bean
that.
bags were back. Were
Yes.
hot.
Oh, I miss the 90s.
No, you
Miss
don't.
them. I do. I do. They
You
were
miss
the
the
best.
aesthetic of the 90s.
Sure. But I also miss being 6. I mean, that was pretty
Yeah,
dope.
that was
pretty dope, too.
That was pretty cool. I just
go
miss
back to
listening
that.
to All Star by Smash Mouth, unironically.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's really all
On
I
the
miss.
bus, someone
Yeah.
would break out in that tune.
Oh,
My
Yeah.
CD disc Walkman or whatever.
Yeah,
That's
what
a
is
great
the
bus song.
what's that other song? About the pavement covered in gold. I can see the road that they walk on is paved in gold. It's always summer, you'll never get cold.
I'm gonna get sued for copyright. I fucking love that song. Who sings that?
I don't know. Fastball.
Oh, thanks.
Thank
Nice,
you, Aaron.
thanks, Aaron.
Yeah.
Look at
Mm,
that.
that was just
Crushing
playing in CVS Pharmacy the other day, and I was just singing in the fucking hair aisle and give a shit.
That band was another Marcy's Playground, Sex with Candy.
Oh, Maroon 5 has a great remix of Sex and
Do they?
Candy. I highly recommend checking it out.
Were all of Adam
usually-
Levine's Super Bowl tattoos Gotti positive?
Oh my god.
I'm not gonna lie, I had sex with Kane as soon as that halftime show was. I was so riled up from Adam Levine without his shirt on. I was like, yeah, I had to fuck something right now. Oh my god.
It's too much. His tattoos are too much.
No.
No, his tattoos are
more.
dumb. California, go fuck yourself.
He's from California.
So, I look. And here's the
him.
thing: I have a Minnesota tattoo. Okay,
You do?
I do, but it doesn't just say Minnesota across my fucking stomach. Like
What is- it's the
cute.
shape of
It's the shape of Minnesota, and then on the side, on the back of the state, in cursive, it says "I love Minnesota."
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, it's fucking cute. Okay? It's not Adam Levine being like, "Look where I'm from." We get it.
We
Okay?
understand.
We get it,
I will
dude.
defend him vehemently. I love him so much. I support every tattoo on his
He
body.
can be your Gotti positive crush.
Yes.
Oh, there you
my
go.
Even though
God.
he's not.
Just wanna
I wouldn't
lick
call
his
Maroon
chest.
5 Gotti positive anyway.
Just trying to think of someone extra.
But your
Yeah.
disgusting obsession with him
Yeah.
is very Gotti positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, get in
I
that,
don't care.
lick
I'm
that
all
belly
about it.
button. Would you lick his belly button?
Absolutely.
What if you into that?
I would lick any part of him.
Anywhere.
Anywhere, anytime. Doesn't care. I don't care how long it's been since he showered. I don't care.
Nape to neck, baby. Oh wait, nape.
my
That
God.
is. Wait, nape to neck. That is the same
I
part,
think
body part. God damn it.
Just one spot. Just really get in there. Do a
Whatever.
little twirl action.
Those are two very
something
Suck
different
on it.
celebrity crushes: Lin-Manuel Miranda and Adam Levine.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but they're actually, at their core, they're very much the same.
because of music.
Like, maybe.
Is Adam Levine married?
Yeah.
Is it? I feel,
Behati Prinsloo. She's a Victoria's Secret model.
of course she is. Isn't Lin-Manuel Miranda like married to his high school sweetheart?
Yeah.
From, like, drama
Did
class?
you see they
Oh,
had
that's
this
precious.
amazing like he released his wedding video to her where he got his whole wedding party and the parents and everyone to sing from Fiddler on the Roof for her from L'Chaim to Life, and it like my sister sent it to me and I'm like, why'd you show me this? Why do you want me to
It
be
just bums
angry?
you out. Yeah, you're like, why is this not me? I don't
You can't
understand.
Photoshop yourself in there. We know editors, right? We work in show business. You can just superimpose yourself.
You know what's just so lovely to watch is someone's just like pure joy for what they do. Like he's got that Lizzo is another. Do you guys know Lizzo?
What's Lizzo?
But I don't know much about.
Lizzo's this amazing R&B, rap, whatever, hip hop artist, and she's like, you know, big plus size body positive activist, and she just makes music that like makes you feel good.
She's saying she's good as hell.
Good as hell.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Juice, which is a great song. She just like makes music that is to make people feel good, and she
Cool.
does it. Same way of like Lynn is like, I'm making stuff I'm passionate about, and he does it, and that's Gotti positive is like people who are passionate and are just like fuck it and just do what they want.
I love it. I love it. What are some ways that people, whether they're doing it or saying it, that aren't body positive, but they might not be aware of it?
That they're aware that they're not being body positive.
if they're unaware, like if they're saying something that's kind of like perpetuating stuff or doing things, or
So saying things like, if anyone has ever said to you, "I'm all for body positivity," but looking unhealthy, that's all bullshit. Like it's all there. I mean, there's so much into body politics, and like I completely will lose people because I do this on dates.
I want to hear all of
my god.
Where like I want to date with a guy, and he's just like, yeah, you know, I'm trying this new diet, and I'm like, oh, hold on, motherfucker, because I'm about to ruin your day. Like, just you know, things like what I'd hear a lot of, like, yeah, I'm body positive, but I don't like someone like Tess Holliday saying that's healthy. Like there is a such thing as body diversity. Like no matter if all four of us ate the same, exercised the same, did it all, we would all look different no matter what.
Right.
Yeah,
Mm,
absolutely.
Right? There's all, and it is this thing of like we're super okay with like height diversity, but there's no body diversity. Like,
Oh, that's really fascinating.
and we all assume people are born skinny. That's like another thing. So.
Yeah.
And so other things that like someone might say that you think are body positive aren't is like eat clean or eat, you know, wellness. Like wellness diets are all like diet culture fat shame, because then you're associating that if you're eating clean, you're pure, you're it's all religious talk. So I'm clean. I don't have sin in my body, right? Because I juice or whatever the fuck you do, right? But, to eat dirty is to eat things like fast food or, meat or preservatives, which really are like foods that, clean, quote unquote, aren't available to most of America due to money reasons. So you're also putting in class into it of like who is able to eat quote unquote clean is like probably wealthy, people who have time to cook or people who have cooks that cook for them or can hire meals to like be delivered to their house. Like you tell a mother of 3, single mom working 2 jobs that like, oh, you should be eating clean.
Right.
And she's like, I don't even have fucking time to eat.
Right.
So I'm going to get whatever's fast, feed my kids. I got shit to do. So it's just like a lot of diet culture is about class. It's about your status. It's about, there's racism, there's sexism, it's all in there in diet culture, and we're just taught to not see it. And especially as like for women, it's a perfect way for us to not bond. Like we bond in the negative, right? And it's easy for us to be like, well, at least I'm not that big, or I'm not like that, instead of being supportive of someone. You know what I mean? It's a good way to, it's like all, God, I couldn't, even I'm tired of my voice, but like, it's
great.
like
Keep
all,
going.
it's all patriarchal shit that like let them hate themselves and hate their bodies, and they won't be mad at the other shit that's happening. So if we're all caught up in this world of hating ourselves and hating our bodies, then we're not going to be mad that like so-and-so gets paid more or so-and-so doesn't get a job. It's just like there's so much to diet culture and how it just fucking ruins our lives. And then when you have something like the body positive movement, which was really made, it's old, it's from like the 70s. Like this is not a new movement, but it was just this idea of like, let people in larger bodies have humanity. Right. And then it got co-opted by diet culture to be like, actually, we can all use this wellness shit and like these buzzwords that the movement was using and use it to still fuel weight loss. So now Weight Watchers isn't a weight loss thing anymore. It's a wellness. It's a lifestyle change. Like all that shit. But it's still a way for you to...
But it's still bad.
Yeah, it's all money. It's just to get you to spend money. That's it.
I feel like that gif of like the woman with like all the like equations floating around her head right now. I'm just like, so much information. Like,
there's so much.
Trust no one.
There's a lot of really good podcasts that are done by a lot of nutritionists who have left that world, right? Because even in a medical field level, so there's so much body bias of like, if you talk to any kind of someone in a larger body, do they go to the doctor? Some of them don't because they're embarrassed because the doctor's just like, lose weight. Or they go to the doctor and they're like, my neck hurts. And they're like, you should lose weight. My neck hurts. Like I don't have a fat neck. Like look at my neck. What's wrong with me? So much of our system, like there was an article that got published. So sad. This girl had breathing problems. And doctors kept being like, lose weight, lose weight, lose weight. Like 5 years later, someone finally looked at her and was like, you have cancer in your lung. And then she did half her lung removed because it was just rotten and dead.
That is
So that shit happens all the time. Like it's not new. And then a lot of these studies that come out or that are like, well, actually weight does contribute to this XYZ. You have to look at the weight bias of the people doing the study, who's paying for the study. And just look at the kind of actual facts of like all these weight loss studies. They only follow people to about 18 months and then they stop. And a lot of people up to 5 years are going to gain the weight back plus more. Just like medical things that people ignore because it doesn't fit into what their idea. And then if you just look at it to its core, it's that people just don't like to look at fat people. It's like you can I could sit here and spout a million facts to XYZ person, and if they just aesthetically are like, I don't like fat people, none of it will matter. And that's the biggest problem with that movement, is that so much of like hating fat people is ingrained in our lives.
It's just conditioning.
It's conditioned because we also know that if we're mean to fat, like we also know that if you're in a big body, people will be mean to you. We know that. We've seen that since we were kids. So we are so conditioned to hate the fat and the other, because then if we hate them, then we're not going to become it. So,
Jeez.
yeah, it just got real heavy.
I have a question, because you're a big history buff too. So, I mean, this wasn't always the case. Like, people, like, if, you know, you were plus size back in the day, that meant like, oh, the status, you were wealthy, you were well fed, right? Like, you had that. What changed? What happened?
So, there's a couple theories that I've found. The one that, to me, it makes a lot of sense. And it was from, I forget her name. She's actually like you can do like fat studies now, and like fat historians. Anyways, you can do like studies. They have studies you can do about the culture of fat and etc. And a great way for America during, you have the Industrial Revolution where, you know, men aren't needed as much. So men now focus in on their bodies. So dieting at first started as like a male thing.
Oh.
And
I did not know that.
Yeah, because I'll have to like send you guys a link so you can link it in your show notes.
Yeah.
It was a really great podcast to listen to. Then another thing is that you have at the same time, you have this huge influx of immigrants coming to America. And a lot of the immigrant bodies, you know, aren't like the white Anglo-Saxon, you know, bodies. Like you have Eastern Europeans coming in, you have Russians, you have Italians, you have bodies that if you look are probably going to be like thicker, fuller bodies. So a great way to distinguish I'm not them is that women in America were like, well, I'll use my thinness or my whiteness to separate. So then you have now the ideal is like this thin, white, very Anglo-Saxon look to contrast the influx of the immigrants coming in. So it's a class thing.
Jeez.
Yeah. And then if you actually like look, which is very interesting, is if you look at like America's like quote unquote obesity problem and you look at dieting, they started about the same time. Diets come into fashion and obesity rises. So you have, they're both rising at the same time, and everyone being like, well, we're the biggest culture we've ever been. We are a culture that is so starved for food and starved for love just in general. Like, of course we're going to, that's where we're going to find food. And you have like, especially what the people are finding is that when you do have people who are starving, and I suggest everyone look at the starvation study from Minnesota in the 1940s that was done. Basically, they put these guys on a quote unquote starvation diet, which was 1,500 calories.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is nothing. I mean, I've seen like, you know, like Reddit boards that are like, oh, here's a 1,500 calorie diet.
Yeah,
or here's a 1,200 calorie diet. Don't worry, you'll be fine. When I used to do the Noom Coach diet, put me on like 1,400 calories or something.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
All these guys went into starvation mode. Like, they became extremely depressed. They had emotional issues. One guy cut his fingers off, didn't remember if he had done it on purpose or not. And then became obsessed with food. And we live in this culture, you look at Instagrams and blogs, it's people taking pictures of their food and meals that they cooked and meals they want to eat, but they can't eat. And how people just love foods that they want to eat, but they can't eat, but they won't let themselves eat. So it's just like we're in this culture of just, we're all collectively starved.
Wow.
And it's all coming out in like horrific ways.
Wow, that's mind blowing.
Wow. So, I mean, you've obviously done so much research on this and you know so much about it.
So I'm a recovering bulimic. So I was bulimic for 14 years. And and then went through a period of, you know, binging and restriction, which is another like, you know, of like, you know, you're like, okay, I'm cleansing for the next 3 days, you know, and then you cleanse, and then the next 2 days is just binge or whatever you're doing. Yeah. And I've been through a lot of therapy. I've been through a lot to like help it get better, and it kind of doesn't end because it's one of those things where every day you're inundated with like how garbage you are if you're in a bigger body. And
especially in this business too.
Especially in this business.
Horrible.
Yeah. And it's like, oh my God, I was doing some research for a movie I'm writing, and I just watched The Bachelorette. Did you guys watch that movie?
It's a movie? I thought you were talking about the show.
No, it was a movie. It had Rebel Wilson in it. It's like 2012. It was so bad.
Yes, I have seen that.
And how the whole movie is just these skinny, awful friends being like, she's too fat for anyone to love her.
Oh my God.
Which we were like, oh, isn't that funny? I literally had that said to me as a kid all the time. When people were like, no guy's going to date you if you're fat. You have to lose weight.
But I thought the point of that movie was like, look at how fucking horrible these women are, and like she's the only one who's happy.
Yeah, but at the end of the movie, they were still all like, there was still like redemption, but it wasn't redemption in them being like, the real redemption of the movie would be that girl being like, you all suck, bye.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, well, they did too much coke, but everything's still gonna be fine.
Yeah.
I feel like this should be more of a comedy podcast. Not being funny
this
right
is
now.
fantastic. Seriously,
This is what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real
so,
shit.
So I will say I'm definitely on the more zealot side of it. Like, when you come out of, for a lot of addicts or a lot of like people going through recovery, is they go very hard on one side because they're angry for whatever reason. I'm angry because my whole life has been, ruined or co-opted by diet culture and how it affected me in my life and all the scattered relationships that I couldn't make work because I was so obsessed with not being enough and hating my body and hating who I was that there was no way I could give any kind of love to anybody else, So I'm at that angry moment, and I know that in 2 years, I hope it'll just be kind of like where I'm like, whatever, like, oh, that's bullshit, and just be fine about it.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm like, I'm frustrated and I'm mad that there are plenty of podcasts that shall go unnamed and people that shall go unnamed that propagate this whole idea of that if you're fat, you're lazy. If you're fat, you're stupid. If you're fat, it's your fault. Like all that shit, which, it never is. And I could go into another hour about gastric bypass and what bullshit that is.
Oh my God. No, please what
share.
Is that?
I don't know anything
That's the
about
surgery.
I love listening to people who
Is that
are
where
so
they
much more
cut-
informed than me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is that where they cut part of the stomach?
Yeah,
or
so
something,
you
or-
have different things you can do, like the band.
Okay.
So I know this because my parents were like, you should do it.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
I was gonna ask before we get into this, what's like the first memory that you have of somebody saying something negative about your body, and who was it?
I was 5, and I was at a pool party, and my mom and babysitter pulled me aside to go weigh me.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I've been dieting since I was like 5.
Oh, like your parents telling you to diet?
Yeah, but you know what? You can't be mad. I mean, the 80s, the crazy diet culture, like there was no way.
And after that too. I mean, my parents said shit like that to me too.
Yeah.
Like, your arms are chunking up a bit. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
okay. Well,
Like,
that's specific. Yeah.
Why say that? What do
Yeah.
they feel like? What they think they're doing is they think they're saving you.
Yes.
From the pain of other people when they literally just said,
They are the other people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know, like, I see from my mom how scared she was that her daughter was going to be hurt by all these people.
Right.
Yeah.
When it's like, you're doing the pain yourself. Instead of like instilling me with like no, you're enough, you're loved, you're great, don't let people hurt you with their words. It was a diet, be part of the system. You have to look like everyone. There's something wrong with you. And then it gets in your head that, oh my God, what is wrong with me? Why am I the other? And that started at like 5, where I was like, why did I get pulled out of this pool party?
Jeez.
And like everyone else gets to play.
Yeah. Have you confronted your parents about that kind of stuff?
I mean, my mother's just like not a confrontable lady. Like, do you guys know Brene Brown?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the shame video,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I showed her that video.
Oh God.
And she got very quiet. And I was like, oh my God, it's working.
Oh no.
And then she just turns and she goes, she's Russian. She goes, Zhenya, I've lost you. And I was like, what? And she goes, this liberal left bullshit, Zhenya. This shame, you must have shit. Like, she just yelled at me.
Oh Jesus!
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So you should have shame?
Yeah, she's just like, you should have
wow.
shame. How dare you even think about like this vulnerability bullshit?
Oh my!
man.
Oh, so you've done a lot of self work, Jenny. Is what I'm
Yeah.
hearing. You've done a lot of undoing of things
So much
that were
self-work.
said and done, and
So much work.
So
Yeah.
funny.
Like, I go home and it's just like once you're out of like the diet culture loop, it is all you fucking see. It's all I see, right? Like I go home and the first thing anyone wants to talk about is food and diet. And I'm like, do we not have anything else we can talk about?
Yeah.
Like I'm sure even just like I had Christmas dinner with the family and it was lovely, but we sat down to eat and then everyone was talking about gluten-free and like the things they couldn't eat. I'm like, we're gathered here as a family. What are we doing talking about shit we can't eat? Tell me about your fucking day. And it happens all the time with like girls and I don't mean like single girls, but we're targeted, you know, because we are very easily targeted in that world. Because to be fat is to be denied love. And you know, you get a bunch of girls together and I guarantee within 5 minutes, someone's talking about a new diet they're trying or a cleanser going on or whatever it is. And it's just like, why are we not talking about, you know, good, like real shit that like warms our hearts, that makes us feel big and makes us feel strong and powerful? Why aren't we sitting here and talking about our accomplishments and like how we're going to move on to the next level and how we can help bring other people into this beautiful world we should be making, but instead we're just being small and like, I ate too much. I don't
Right. Yeah.
Don't worry. I worked out enough today, so it's fine. Like
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
100%.
yeah. That's so like, it's so condemning to hear also, because you just think about all the times you've done that too, of like, and I mean the gluten-free thing, I think sometimes, I've certainly, when I was younger, I was like heavier and I did a lot of dieting and all that stuff and like the whole 30 thing, and then you do that and you get all like, you know, like you were talking about, like even like the healthy wellness stuff can become like obsessive and addictive. The like trying to reframe your brain so that if you are avoiding things, it's because they don't make you feel good, as opposed to like, I don't want to look a certain way. Because I certainly went through that where I was like, okay, so am I cutting potatoes out because they're not good for me, or am I cutting it out because you're afraid that, you know, you're gonna go up a size in jeans or whatever? Like, it's so but it's also closely connected, I feel like, as far as like, because gluten does bother some people.
It does,
but then other people, it's just like I'm not gonna eat bread because I don't want to get puffy or something.
And I'm also not here to shame anyone on the way they want to eat. Whatever way people want to eat is fine. Like, I also feel like that you can be in a bigger body and be like, well, I want to look a certain way, or I want to whatever. It's just like, where is that feeling coming from? You know, like I personally for myself, and I'll admit it, is like, I have a lot of dresses that I really, really love and would love to get back into. But I'm not actively dieting. I've decided to become a vegetarian because I like love my dog, and I like don't want animals to be hurt.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's where that's coming from. But like, I'm not actively doing it. I do joyful movements. So I literally sit and like, what movement's gonna make me happy? Like, if it's not the gym, it's not the gym. If it's a hike, it's a hike. But I know for myself, it helps my depression. It helps me get endorphins. Like all this stuff. Like there are all these, and I hate saying that, like lifestyle health changes that have nothing to do with the body, have nothing to do with weight or diet culture, but are good things. Like we all know that moving makes people feel better, right? Yeah. And like if it happens, it happens. But if I don't get down to, you know, the size I was 2 years ago, my self-worth isn't going to be based on it. Whether or not I'm worthy of love and deserving to be where I am is not going to be based on the size of my body, right? And that is the goal to get to. And we forget that like our bodies are going to change either way. Like none of our parents have the body they had when they were our age, right?
Yeah.
Our bodies change. That's just the way it is. And, you know, I mean, you want to talk about being in Hollywood as women, like we have 2 more years still?
Right. Yeah.
It's like
6 months.
6 months till they're like, no.
Well, when do you think that shift was too? Because you're talking about like where it all really stems from with like you're talking about the 1500s, but there was also that time when like, you know, Marilyn Monroe was this like the portrait of beauty, and she what size was she?
Well, she was a size 14 vintage, which is actually a size 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, because
her
vintage
waist was,
sizing,
like, so small.
Yeah, vintage sizing. I'm like a size 24, 26, which is like in real life I'm a size, and like our sizing, I'm like a 14, 16. So
Okay.
vintage sizing change. It's just, so, you know, it's still like, if you look at the beauty standards, it's still all kind of male gazy in a way. So like, even in the 50s, it was a little curvier, but it was still tiny waist. It was big titties.
Right.
Right.
It was, it was the same kind of like this hourglass shape that really is unavailable unless you have corsetry. You know, which a lot of that too is like so many celebrities or whatever in the photos, they're wearing supportive undergarments that we don't really know about. They're wearing corsets or they have so much fucking Botox in their face and they're like, I just use a cream. And you're like, bitch, just fucking tell us you put Botox in your face, whatever, you know? Like, and I don't down anyone for getting this stuff done to like what makes them feel good, but it's just like, again, it is who and what are you doing it for? So are you doing this for because you feel like if you are a size 2, you'll be loved more? Or are you doing it because, well, I don't know, other reasons? Because that's where your body, you know, is or whatever. I don't know what your reasons are. But the problem is that to change a body size so drastically is usually just is kind of harmful. You know, like there's no real way to do it. And people's bodies change. So like I've been born, like I've always been big my whole life. And I don't know if that's because I've been dieting my whole life too. Because you'll find that people who are in bigger bodies, they've been dieting their whole lives. You know, so it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Because every time you lose weight, if you gain it back, your body has a set weight point it wants to be on. And then gets the signal of like, oh no, we went down to 1,500 calories. We're starving. It will try to bulk up to go past what your set point was so that it won't, you won't starve again for the next season. And this actually, they found this out with the winners of the Biggest Loser. They all gained the weight back except for like one person. They all gained way more weight back than they had originally.
Oh man, yeah, because that show is so unrealistic as far as like, we're gonna put you on this farm where all you do is run.
Yeah,
right.
It's
dangerous.
Crazy.
Yeah,
and
that's so
it is
dangerous.
super dangerous. Like,
Yeah.
the practices they found were like really awful. So, you know, so it's like all this stuff that we see. We're like, oh, it's just like, well, what's the real thing behind it? We saw The Biggest Loser was to tell people you can do it, but really, it was so beyond our living. Or like we see celebrities who have this amazing weight loss. They can afford cooks. They can afford personal trainers to work out 3 hours a day because they have a nanny for their children. Like it's just, we are idolizing the absolute impossible.
Yeah.
And the same with like beauty things that we see today of like, you know, big butts. It's again, it's same. It's big butts now. Still a tiny waist.
Yeah, the hourglass thing has really kind of come back with like the Kardashians and the waist trainers and all that stuff. It's that kind of Nicki Minaj shape of like huge tits, huge ass, microscopic waist.
Yeah.
Where it's like curves are fine, but only in these areas.
Right,
Yes.
and it's
Yes.
seen as more acceptable. And you're like, no, this is just as hard. Like,
Yeah,
it's just
this
as
is
hard
way
to get.
harder because now you have a flat stomach and a huge butt.
Yeah, how the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean,
How you doing
Yeah, it's just like it's just more unrealistic shit to distract us again from like being powerful.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if we're looking to like, and what I do like is when the celebrities do be like, yeah, I have butt implants, or yeah, I have done shit to my face,
Right.
because then it's like, all right, cool, not for me, but good on you.
Yeah, dude. Anything I do, I'm super open about because I'm so ultra aware, especially we have a lot of young female listeners of this show that I've bought myself boobs because I grew up like a stick figure being told my whole life that real women have curves and you look like a little boy, basically.
Yeah.
So when I got older, I'm like, oh, I still got no boobs and I've always wanted them. I've always thought they were beautiful. And you know, like I come from a very voluptuous, gorgeous, curvy family. And so I bought myself boobs. I got my lips done. I got little fillers, whatever, and I tell everybody about it. If I get a compliment, I'm like, "Wow, you got great tits!" Like I bought them. They are fake, and this because I don't want people thinking like, "Oh, she's got a little waist, big tits, her lips are a little bit bigger." You know, like I want people to know I bought this shit. This is not how I woke up. And because I don't want anybody thinking like, "Oh, that's the norm," or that's attainable for me as well, or whatever it might be. I worked long hours to get these things. So yeah, and not in the gym, just grinding away at the old career. So no, I think it's a responsibility. I really do. I think it's a responsibility. I don't think you should ever lie about it.
Yeah.
When somebody says it, I hate it. I hate it. And again, I know it's like, okay, it's your choice. But if you're in the public eye and young women are looking to you as a role model and you're saying, no, this is all natural, go fuck yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, look, I don't care. Like Nicole, like a perfect example, Nicole Kidman. Like, her face doesn't move.
Yeah.
You're telling me it's a fucking cream? Like,
Right.
come on.
Right.
You know, and again, I have no do whatever you want. And that's the thing is I'm also like, do whatever you want. Just know where the shit you're doing is coming from.
Just know why you're doing it.
Yeah, why you're doing it. So like, I'll get to your thing about bodies through time, because I used to do like fashion history and I love it.
Cool.
But it's also very interesting about all the horrible ways again that women were like trapped in these outfits. But you know, it's it just depends on what is your reasoning. So like, I'm very transparent about having an eating disorder and like how I got to where I am today, because I think it's important. I think that my journey isn't unique in any way. I'm sure there are lots of people who are on this journey and might still be stuck in bulimia world and want to get out of it.
So how did you get to this point then?
It really happened. I stopped probably about 2.5 years ago. When I was like, I'm done. And and I don't know what happened. It clicked. Prince died and it made me sad. And then I wanted to sing, and I was like, I used to sing so well. Yeah. And then I had this moment of like, I used to sing, I talk for a living. What the fuck am I doing? I'm destroying my body and I won't be able to do the things I really want to do. You know, like whatever I think I'm losing by being bulimic, it pales in comparison to the actual dreams and goals that I have. But it doesn't. That's the thing, is that for a lot of bulimics, it's not necessarily getting rid of the food, it's the anxiety. So it's a great way to end anxiety. So then I had to deal with a bunch of other stuff of anxiety coming in. And I started going to a therapist who was an intuitive eating therapist. So like,
we've talked about that on this podcast.
So was based in intuitive eating, HAES, which is a health at every size. And I want to clarify too to people who might be like, she's telling people to stay fat and unhealthy. I'm not. What I'm saying is that no matter what your body size, you should be granted humanity and you should be granted the ability to live your life without shame.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And unfortunately, you know, we've had to start a whole other medical area that will not judge you based on your outside body, because your outside doesn't tell you shit. There are plenty of people who have cancer and are dying and are skinny.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, just because you're fat does not mean that you will die.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Back to what was I talking about? So, you know, I feel like I saw this therapist who was, you know, really great, and I continued to see her. And then I started seeing like a nutritional therapist who really, it was more of like, not like you should be eating this. It was just like, so why are you eating this? Or why are you doing this? Like, like one of the things is I did like the no bread, no gluten. And I was like, well, it just makes me feel better. And she was like, does it? Like, what do you eat? Like, is it, like, you know, you're lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
So if you're eating pizza, what do you assume is making you feel bad? You know, and it's like, oh, okay, it's just like, she was a good filter of like filtering out the bullshit of like, and there's also, you can completely make yourself, if you think a food's gonna make you sick, it's a what they call a nocebo effect. So you're like, well, gluten must make me sick, and you eat it, and you've convinced yourself that gluten makes you feel bad. So you know, you'll think after a while, well, oh, that pain in my stomach, that must be that, like, that gluten is like hurting my body and it should be out of me, or it's like a fart. I don't know. Like it's,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
right.
It's like you're digesting food. Your body's going through actual digestion.
Yeah.
Like we assume that we're not supposed to be feeling things after food.
Yeah.
Except pure positive energy. But it's like, no, like you're eating a lot of fiber. You're going to shit. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So it was just like, that was good to like have kind of a bullshit meter and like be able to trust. But it's like, it's a learning, and I'm still like totally outside that world where like, the other day I bought like some weird pretzels that were like cauliflower and like whatever, and I was like, these taste so bad, and I kept eating them to be like, I want this to taste better. Meanwhile, if I just gotten regular fucking pretzels, I would have had like a handful of pretzels and been like, damn, those are some good pretzels, and then left. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and that's another part of like intuitive eating too, is like, have you guys read the book?
Yeah.
I loved
whole
it.
episode.
It's such a great book.
Yeah, it's really
It
good.
didn't work so well for
They
Kelsey
didn't
and
feel
I.
like it was as helpful for them, but when I read it, I don't know how many years ago it was, maybe like 5 years ago or something. It really helped me a lot, because I used to be like a big like binge eater, and it was all for like very emotional reasons and like control. And reading that book was super helpful as far as like what you were saying, like trusting yourself again, and really listening to how you felt afterward, and trying to think more about that as opposed to how you feel in the moment and how you're just gonna like kind of cover it up with unhealthy stuff. And the stuff that they talked about in that book about just like eating what you're craving sometimes instead of like overeating, like instead like just have a couple real pretzels as opposed to all of the cauliflower ones, like I've definitely done that with stuff where I'm like, well, there's no sugar in this, so I can eat this, and I eat way more than I would have of something that I would have actually wanted.
And there's like some of that sugar-free shit, because my dad used to own a sugar-free store. We had a sugar-free low-carb store in the early 2000s. It was very popular.
Perfect place to have it.
We had some of the sugar-free stuff had sugar alcohols in it, which made you shit your pants.
Right.
You would have like
the gummy bear thing, right?
Yes. So like I would just shit myself, and I would like, but it's low carb. I just like just eat the fucking brownie.
Yeah.
And shut up. And you'll be fine. Like, no, you will not die unless you legitimately are like allergic and will go into anaphylactic shock. You will not die because you had a piece of the birthday cake. What you will do is you'll be less insufferable to the people around you. And you will enjoy life more. And then also, too, is that what they point out in the book is like, and this is about with food addiction, which I thought I was very much addicted to food. It's just that I wasn't letting myself eat the things I wanted. So like a kid, I mean, like you grew up in a house where your mom didn't have snacks in the house.
Yeah.
You'd go to your friend's house and fucking lose your mind because you didn't have that shit at home. Right. It's like, it's been a lot of conditioning of like reminding myself, I'm an adult. There's no one telling me I can and can't have what I want. And everything is available to me, which I'm very lucky too, is that I am lucky that everything is available to me for the most part. So, it's like, I still, when I drive by McDonald's, there's a voice in my head that's like, if you don't eat that burger, no one will love you. Like that's a literal thought in my head because I'm so attached to that. And then I'll go there and I'll end up eating like half the burger and I'll be like, it's not even good. Like because once you allow yourself to have it and like really experience it, then you're like, oh, it's not that good. Like all these foods you thought you loved, you're like, I don't love it. It's not good anymore.
Yeah. It makes me feel bad. I was just eating it to fill something else up.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. I think that's so perfect. Yeah. I want to ask you one last thing before we let you go.
Went off
no, this was so great. I was so interested.
Dude, I could talk to you for hours.
I do want to ask about working with a stylist and how you found her. Were you friends before? Because you do always look so put together and great on like every TV appearance you do. Like the picture you posted the other night for the Conan test run. Oh my God. I thought that outfit was so fucking cute.
So I met her from like a friend of a friend, and I loved that she was like a plus size stylist and knows how to deal with like plus size bodies. Cause like, so she styled me for Badass Bitches of History. So all the regular where I'm like a person not dressed in historical costuming, she styled. But the amount of clothes we had to go through, because there's no standard sizing for plus size. It's like, who's your fit model? A 3X here is actually a 1X somewhere else, but a 2X somewhere else. Jeez. So we went through so much clothing that just didn't fit my body, you know, and it's different. Like when you I have a stomach, so my thighs might be like a size 12, but my stomach's a 16. Like, what's going to be the best pant fit for that? They just don't have great options, especially like in brick and mortar. Fucking forget it. There's one store, Lane Bryant, the plus size area in Macy's, and like Torrid. They used to have City Chic here, but they closed all their stores. So there's like nothing else. There was a place actually in LA called the Plus Bus, which does plus size consignment. They're great if anyone wants to go there. But having a stylist, especially like, it really, you know, it helped me figure out what my style, what I wanted to show, like what is my brand. And having someone put you in clothes that makes your body feel good, no matter what size body you have, it completely changes your outlook and like how you feel. And especially like going on stage, like if you're wearing something that you feel confident, like I have no problem saying that like fashion is important. Like it affects our self-esteem and how we feel about ourselves, no matter what, right? So I think it's so important that like you wear the stuff that makes you feel good, and having a stylist really did help me like figure out that. And then also she teaches me about like good fit, or like how something should fit, or what ethical brands, like what should I buy, you know, like I don't buy Nikes anymore because they're really bad. I buy, you know, Adidas actually is a really, as far as like giant sneaker companies, is going to be a much more ethical.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have a lot of it.
That's good to know.
Oh man, God, I have Nikes at home.
Sorry, you gotta get rid of them. There's a great app called Good on You. It's fun. It's a app that will like you can type in a brand and it'll tell you.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I'm like, how do you know? How do you find out all this
Good
stuff?
on You is a good one. And it's so funny too, is you'll type in like Gucci, Dolce & Gabbana, Versace, these fucking high-end brands. Terrible.
Wow.
Because they make the same shit that H&M is making, comes out of the same factory.
Wow.
You know, and H&M and Forever 21, they go through other, like they don't have their own factories, they contract other factories that do like the legitimate slave labor. Like in LA, there is slave labor going on right now.
Oh my God.
But no one
Lord.
talks about it.
Does that brand, or does that app work for like all kinds of stuff, like food brands and cosmetic
no,
brands?
mostly, I think just
clothing.
Okay, you can try it.
Yeah.
I mean, after this hilarious podcast.
No, this is great. I learned so much from you. Holy
It's
shit.
a good mix of fun and real.
Every day I listen to motivational stuff. I like listen to podcasts that enrich my life. I really tried. I got off Twitter. That was the best thing I ever did.
Smart.
I like very much enrich my life with like positive things to try to counteract all the negative shit in this town.
Yeah.
And there's a lot.
What do you listen to?
So the food podcasts I really like about that I get a lot of my information from is Christy Harrison, Food Psych.
Okay.
Amazing podcast. Then there's another one called Don't Salt My Game, which is they're both these are both like nutritionists who are very much anti-dieting nutritionists. I listen to like On Being, which is a great like philosophy podcast. Some of this stuff though, like a lot of the motivational ones also will be like, you want to lose weight? You just got like they fat shame in there, so I try to stay away from those.
Yeah.
But I do like a meditation. There's one that Mike Kaplan gave me called Insight Timer.
Oh,
It has like a bunch of meditations to start. Like meditating is a great way, just in the morning, just settle your shit, get your mind going. But yeah, I'm like, I do so much self-help. You don't even understand.
Oh my God. I love it. You're such a badass.
So much.
Do you have anything you want to plug as far as like
you can
dates coming up?
Yeah, so February 21st, I will be in Stanford, California, at the Stanford Bing Crosby Opera House studio room, doing a little black box comedy. And then I'm going to be in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, the 22nd and 23rd at, I think it's called Cypress Brewery or something. You know what? But just go to my Jenny Zagrino. It's on everything. Jenny Zagrino, all across the board. Don't go to my Twitter. I don't use it. Just go to Instagram. It's much more fun.
Oh, and Gaudy positive, it's Gaudy.
Yeah,
Because I thought it was your podcast also taught me how to spell Gaudy because I thought it was GAW, but it's GAUDY.
Yeah, I also do another podcast that's coming out in a few days with my friend Jen Saunderson called The Feeling Is Mutual.
Oh,
and that
cool.
one is where we interview like comics and our friends about like food that's important to them. So like we just did Camille Cleese, and we did Michael Malone, and so it's just like a good like conversation, like what's a food that's important to you guys? Give me one.
Donuts, bagels. I mean, pretty much all breakfast foods. But I realized because I bagels are donuts are my favorite dessert.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I wonder why. And I have memories of my mom picking me up in like a little wagon at school, and she always has like a little like stack of donuts waiting for me. You know, like the wrapped ones, and I would eat them in my wagon on the way home.
That is
and
so
I'm like, I wonder,
goddamn cute,
right? Like that must be
adorable.
why I just like I love donuts.
Yeah.
They are so
funny.
fantastic.
I love cookies because I grew up making cookies with my mom.
Yeah.
See, so this is like, what about you?
I had the same thing. I made like chocolate chip cookies with my grandma, and like so that's the thing now where I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna go, we're getting chocolate chip cookies.
So like food, like that's the thing too is like that bothers me so much about diet culture is food is so wonderful. It brings people together. Like we shouldn't be talking about the foods we're not eating. We should be talking about the foods that we love to eat.
Yeah.
Right, and the memories attached to it. I love cabbage.
Corned beef and cabbage.
Right? My mom's Russian. She makes cabbage all the time. I fucking love cabbage.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You know?
So cool.
That is very cool.
And that comes out in a few days, so that'll be out by the time this comes out.
Yeah.
Great.
It'll be out. You guys will, and then it's great. Everything's good, guys. Everything turns out. Lin-Manuel Miranda's gonna help us.
I just want to remind people that I'm headlining the Comedy Underground in Seattle this Friday through Sunday, and Kane is going to be with me. So we're going to be performing together. It's going to be a great show. So go to kelseycook.com to get those tickets.
And then, wait, when does this come out?
Monday the 11th, so you'll be in Portland.
Oh, yeah. So thank you so much. You know my dates better than me.
I'm Taylor.
I'll be headlining the Helium Comedy Club in Portland this weekend, the 14th through the 16th. And I've already had some listeners reach out and say they're coming like for a Galentine's Day date.
Oh,
which
that's
is
so
nice.
cool.
Yes, I've had the same thing.
Dude, that's awesome.
So yeah, and we have some Patreon. We have a lot of Patreon people coming to those shows, which is nice.
And I'll be here. I'll be here playing with my puppy and not doing shit.
Living her best life.
Do it.
Painting dicks, and that's about it.
If that's what calls to you, then do it.
It calls.
does.
It calls
Yeah.
frequently.
It does indeed.
Yeah.
Don't get in the comparison trap, man.
Yeah. No.
We're all being successful.
I'm comparing myself to her.
Just, you know,
Exactly.
paint my dick mugs and pet my puppy. That's all I need.
Well, thank you so much for being
Thanks
on.
for having me, guys.
All right.
I promise I'm more funny in real life.
She's so
dude,
funny.
you're hilarious.
Go watch
Dude.
her Conan appearances. Go watch her half
Yeah.
hour. Watch,
Just
listen to her
angry,
album.
That's all.
No.
Yeah.
So mad. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.